Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Beginner Sewing with Mary. Today I have a little surprise for you. I have been thinking about this idea for a while and kind of figuring out how I would do this, but I want to take this big Christmas stocking, your traditional Christmas stocking, and turn it into a little doggy coat. So anyways, I am going to probably have to, first I'm going to have to take out the seam right around here. And then after that, I remember those mittens I made? Well, I'm going to take the sleeve from the sweater that I used, and I use this for the inside of the coat. So it'll go like on this part of the coat. Okay, friends, probably the most difficult part for me in making this jacket was measuring my little puppy. Well, she's not really a puppy. She's a full-grown dog, but she's very small. You're going to need to measure around their neck, around their rib cage, and around their hips. And then you're going to measure from the base of their neck all the way to the base of their tail, so that you know how long the jacket's going to have to be. All right, so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, friends, just a quick note. When you are measuring for a pattern, you usually put in either a ½ inch or an inch into your measurements to allow for the hem or the seam that you're sewing, because most seams are a ¼ inch seam. So depending upon what kind of seam, what kind of fabric you're using, like this fabric that I'm using right here is really fragile fabric. And that, I mean, it comes apart really easily. So I want to give myself probably, I'm probably going to do a 1/2 inch seam on this, which may seem like a lot, but it's just giving it a little bit more give. So if I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam on this, that means I'm going to need a 1/2 inch on either side of the jacket. So that means that I'm going to, in my measurements, I'm going to add in 1 inch. So if my dog's neck is 12 inches around, then I'm automatically going to add in 13 inches when I'm sewing it. So that means that these two pieces, when I sew them together, these two pieces right here, so we've got the lining of the jacket, and we've got we've got the undercoat of the jacket, and we have the top of the jacket. When we put these together, I'm gonna give myself about a 1/2 inch seam, just because, like I said, this fabric is really fragile and comes apart easily. And so on this side, it's also gonna be 1/2 inch. So the circumference of this piece will need to be, or the length of this piece, if you pull it out all at once, together, here, we'll pull it back, should be 13 inches. Now this is just basic seamstress knowledge, but when you're, sewing knowledge, I should say, but when you're starting to create a pattern, you're gonna need this. So, for example, this coat on the neck is a total of, currently, it's gonna be 22 inches. That's gonna fall off my little dog. So I'm gonna need to cut it down some more so that it will fit her properly. And that's just the way it is in sewing. What I could do is I could take this piece and cut that in half and make that just 5 inches instead of 10. Yes, that's my other dog in the background. I don't know if you hear her talking and grumbling. She's upset because she didn't get any measurements yet. But don't worry, Susie, you're gonna get your coat too. So that's still, with that, that's still 17 inches. So I'm gonna alter it. Anyways, I just wanted to give you that quick tip. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fold this little collar in half, because we're going to make it smaller for the littler dog, and have to cut it to size so that it matches up around the collar edge of the little jacket. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, friends, I'm back again. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pin the edges of our little collar. I cut the collar down to size to measure it to go around the outside of the coat, excluding the front part. And then I realized that when you take apart these Christmas stockings, there's already a hem on one edge, which is fantastic. So what I did was I cut out another piece of the sweater. This is along the neckline. I cut this out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this piece, and that's going to be on the back, so it's softer. And then what I'll do is I'm going to add the collar like that, so it's a lot softer. I try to make, if I make clothes for my dogs, I want them to be just as comfortable as I am. So this, I will sew the other piece in the back here, I also had to go ahead and add on more fabric because when I put it on my little dog, it was much too small. So even though she's tiny, I had to make it back to where it was originally. So it's going to be like this. So we'll have that, and that, and I'll sew these pieces together, and then I'll put some trim on, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, can't wait. What I decided to do is to go ahead and put a little black ribbon. I put the trim on, and now I'm going to put a little black ribbon on the back for the Santa suit. And I also found a gold button that I will sew onto the center here. So, okay.